The views of the guest are that of the guests and do not represent nor reflect the views and opinions of the Lockoutmen channel, the Recruiter Call channel, nor its host. This site content is for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only.
So imagine waking up one day, you get on your phone, you go to your bank account app, and realizing that the settlement that you worked so hard for is gone. Poof, out of here. This is happening to a few truck drivers that's rocking out with these black op companies. Today, we're going to talk about how to protect yourself from these shady practices that is done by them.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for listening. And if you're a truck driver or somebody that's thinking about getting into industry and going with these black op companies as your first, second, or third choice, you might want to stick around, because today I'm diving into something that nobody never talks about, but is always happening. And what I'm talking about is why you should have more than one checking account. It is critical for a truck driver that's working for a black op company to have and to protect your hard-earned money. Let's get straight to it, man. Let's not mess around, bro. There has been issues where trucking companies reverse payments from drivers' checking accounts. Yes, there has been instances, even though I can't pronounce it. Google, help me with that.
Instances.
Thank you, Google. I appreciate you. These black op companies often claim that it's due to errors, overpayments, or anything for that matter. Just take the money back out of your settlement. But here's the shady part, though. Many times, they don't even notify the driver beforehand. So you driving 80, 70, 60 hours a week, 3,000 miles a week. And when that Friday comes around and you check your direct deposit, you find out that your deposit has been reversed.
The unit reversed. The unit reversed it.
Why? Why have my money been reversed? It's frustrating, stressful, and downright wrong. This kind of practices isn't always illegal, though, but it's highly unethical for them to do it. It's a way for the companies to control the flow of their money, sometimes without proper oversight or transparency. That's why having more than one checking account is critical. Look, have another checking account. It could be Chime, it could be online, it could be another bank branch. Have another checking account. Open a second checking account.
Why?
Because if the company doesn't have access to that second checking account, they won't be able to touch your money. Open a second checking account, ideally from another bank. It could be the same bank, but just make sure that it is separate from your primary account. Have it have its own account.
Why?
You need a second checking account? Well, that will be the account that you give the black ops company. You give them that account and keep it separated from your primary account. Do not, under any circumstances, give them your primary account, because if you do, they can
The unit reversed. The unit reversed it.
change all that stuff from your primary account, which messes up your checking account if you have like auto pay or whatever the case. That second account is the one that you give them. You give them that account and have them to deposit your money into that account.
Why?
That's the account that they can have access to. Your primary account, they can't touch it because they don't have access to it. Second thing you might want to do with the second account is turn on auto transfer, right? It's simple. Now with auto transfer, I think it will probably take a day or two for the money to transfer out of that account into your primary account. So here's a workaround. Set up a Zelle.
Why?
For both accounts. Now, Zelle, you're going to need two different emails for it in order for this to work. All right. You can have an email, your primary email, and then you can have a secondary email for your second account, because you're going to need that for Zelle to instantly transfer your funds between the two banks. So the moment when your settlement hit your second account, you can move it quickly, immediately to your primary account. So if the Black Ops company feels some kind of way about you and they try to go in and do
The unit reversed. He's doing a reversed it.
what they gonna take? Ain't nothing in there to take because you already transferred the money out and put it into your primary account. Now, if you're like me, I'm gonna need you to monitor both of your accounts on a regular.
Why?
I monitor my checking account every day. I have multiple checking accounts, but I'm just saying my primary account, I check every day. I check my backups and I check out my secondary accounts daily. Keep an eye on all your accounts. Listen, if you notice any unauthorized activity, you better jump on that, especially if it's coming out of your secondary account. The quicker you spot the issue, the better your chances to resolve it. So check this out. You guys know I talk to a lot of truck drivers. And in this particular story right here, I just got finished talking to a truck driver who got hit hard by this very thing. And thank you, driver, for giving me the inspiration for making this podcast because it's not being talked about as much. And a lot of Black Op companies are notorious for
The unit reversed. He's doing a reversed it.
money out of your checking account. So he worked overtime, 3,000 miles, 80 miles, LD friendly. And of course, he was excited when it came time for his element to show up into his direct deposit. He was inspecting that money. He had plans for that money, right? A little bit more than, I don't know, about, I'm just gonna say, let's just say about 5,000 plus, right? The company settled him out on Friday. He was like, cool. He put a little bit into his savings, put a little bit into his everyday account because that's the money that he used for food and stuff like that. But by Monday came around, they
The unit reversed. He's doing a reversed it.
at least a quarter of that. And you want to know what their reason was? Oh, it was an oversight. No warning, no explanation, no call. He just happened to wake up that Monday morning to check his accounts like you should and notice the inconsistencies of his money being missing. Called them up and they say, oh, it was an oversight. Our bad. Yo, bad. What the hell, man? What the hell? Why you took my money in the first place? He told me that they said it was an oversight, something to do with a billing or some shit like that. I don't know, but that's why they
The unit reversed. He's doing a reversed it.
that money out of his checking account. But again, like I say, he did transfer a little bit over and the rest was in his primary. But when he went back to check his primary, a quarter of the money that was given to him was taken back. So he did kind of avoid a huge deficit. He already took care of what he needed to take care of, luckily. But still, it doesn't matter. You mess with the man's money, you shouldn't have. So to recap this podcast, and again, thank you, driver, for giving me the inspiration to create this because, again, not a lot of people is talking about it. It happens most with Black Op companies. Not to say that it doesn't happen with major trucking companies, but it's notoriously done in Black Ops companies. So open up a second checking account.
Why?
That's separated from your primary account. Set up your direct deposits and your settlements into your second account. Make sure you get a Zelle for both accounts so that it could be easy transfer between the two. Never let these Black Op companies have complete control over your finances. If something feels off, get on top of it. These scams and shady practices thrive on people who don't speak up. Protect yourself. And that's why I'm here to spread the word. So drivers, I hope you find this helpful and you should use it to your advantage. I'm going to leave it right here. Until next time, everybody.